Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Layla, and for today's video I'm going to go over a finance update for Q3 of 2024. I've been filming a quarterly update every quarter for several years now, and in these videos I go over quite a few numbers, so that's going to include my income, my investments, my savings, my net worth, as well as the goals that I set, and then I will share some more goals that I set for the final quarter of 2024, which is crazy. I cannot believe we are already in Q4. I will link the videos for Q1 and Q2 of 2024 in the description box, but just know that I have these for 2023 and the years before that as well. So if you're interested, you can go back. But let's go ahead and jump into it. The first thing that I'm going to start with is my online income. This is actually my only income coming in at this point. And I mean, I have extra income as well, but for the most part, this is what I am relying on. So in July, my gross business income was $3,110. In August, it was $2,801. In September, it was $4,168. And if we add all of that up, it is $10,079. So not too bad. I'll go through my goals in just a bit, but I did want to make more than that. My goal was higher than that. I did expect things to slow down a bit in the summer, and I definitely saw that, especially in August. But luckily things seem to be picking back up, and I think Q4 will be pretty strong. I mean, but altogether over 10,000 isn't too bad. At least I got over the 10K, so that's good. Now we can move on to my investments. I'm going to start with my Roth IRA. So at the end of Q2, my Roth IRA was at $36,109. I did not contribute anything to it. I've already maxed it out for 2024. And at the end of Q3, my Roth IRA was at $38,186, which is pretty good. That's an increase of $2,077. And by the way, my Roth IRA is invested all in VTSAX. Next would be my brokerage account. At the end of Q2, that was at $9,641. I did invest $35 to my brokerage. I bought $35 worth of VGT. And at the end of Q3, it was at $10,193. So that's an increase of $552. Now, as I just said, there is some VGT in here. Probably like 10% is VGT, and then 90%, maybe 85% is VTI. So both ETFs, and the bulk of it is VTI. Next up is my 401k. At the end of Q2, this was at $36,262. I did start contributing again because as my company, I started a 401k, a solo 401k, and I also give myself a match. So I put in for my paychecks $100, but as my business, I put in 80. So a total of 180 contributed. And at the end of Q3, my 401k was at $37,861, which is an increase of $1,599. I will pop up on the screen the two index funds that I'm invested in my 401k. I don't know why I can never remember, but yeah, they'll be up there because I'm not going to try to remember right now. And then my final investment or retirement account would be my SEP IRA. And I started this back in Q2, and I haven't added to this. Okay, so let me just say, so at the end of Q2, this was at $100. In July, so just in July, I added $320 to this. I contributed $320. So at the end of Q3, I was at $433, which is an increase altogether of $333. Now, what I was saying is that that was the only time I added to it, was in July, but then I decided to go ahead and start contributing to my solo 401k. So because of that, I decided I would not continue to contribute to my SEP IRA. I also have my SEP IRA with Fidelity. The whole thing is invested in FXAIX. Someone had commented that you can't, the way that the SEP IRA is set up through Fidelity, I can't have that type of SEP IRA and also contribute to a solo 401k. So at some point in the year, I need to roll this into like Charles Schwab or something, a different type of SEP IRA plan basically. So I still haven't done that, but I have not been adding to this. For now, it's just been my 401k and my brokerage account. So I don't know if I'll keep it around. I guess I will. I kind of got to search the options on that, like either just push it over, move it over to Charles Schwab or some other platform, or just get rid of it completely. And I don't know, I haven't really given it much thought yet, so we'll see about that one. Okay, so now we can look at my savings. These are all of my sinking funds. At the end of Q2, I was at $31,645. And of course, I added some money, I took some money out. I actually took out more money than I added. So at the end of Q3, I was at $27,863, which isn't great because that's a decrease of $3,782. This is the only area that I saw a decrease. I don't love to see this. So what happened was in August, I pulled a couple thousand from my emergency fund so that I could pay for the house, like pay for what I needed to with the house. And I did that. I paid for 2 months, so I could basically get a month ahead with the house. And then more recently, I pulled over $1,700 actually from my business sinking fund because I spent quite a bit of money on business expenses, so I pulled from that. So that was the big chunk of it, the big chunks of it, I should say. It looks like moving forward, I will just be adding to it for the rest of the year, so that is definitely, I'll talk about my goals, but definitely on there, because I want this to go back up. I don't want to see this decreasing. I mean, that's what I have savings for though. Like when I need it, that's when I pull from it, but I would rather just see the numbers continue to go up. Okay, and then for my net worth, at the end of Q2, I was at $115,918. And at the end of Q3, I reached $117,513, which is an increase of $1,595. So definitely not as much of an increase as I'm used to seeing, especially when I had my full-time job, but still an increase and not that bad. This is obviously the highest net worth I've ever had, and my goal for the whole year is $125,000. So yeah, I'm hoping I can get past that, but it definitely depends on the stock market because a lot of my money is invested. So that's it for the numbers. Let's talk about the goals that I set for Q3. First goal was to make at least $12,000 in income from my business, just my business, not extra income. I did not achieve that. As I said, I made $10,079, so a couple thousand short, but still did okay. I wanted to invest at least $600. I don't know where that number came from. I don't remember what I had in. I think I just wanted to do like $200 per month, but I did not. I was not able to do that. So I actually invested or contributed about $535. If we look at what I put toward my brokerage, toward my SEP IRA, and toward my 401k, and that does include the match that I gave myself as my company. So about $65 short there, but that's still not too bad. Considering all things, I'm glad that I was able to invest anything. And then the final goal that I set was to reach a $120,000 net worth, and I did not achieve that either. So as I just said, my net worth reached $117,500 or so. So yeah, a couple thousand short from that, but that's okay. So I did not reach any of the goals that I set in Q3, and I think the same thing happened in Q2. But that doesn't make me feel bad or anything. I think all the numbers that I hit, like everything was positive aside from my savings, and I would say my income was pretty fair, especially considering it was the summer months, and I am still very happy with the progress that I made. So no, I didn't invest 600, but I still invested 535. No, I didn't reach a net worth of 120, but I reached 117, which is very close and the highest I've ever had. So I'm still very happy with where things are headed. And then I did, of course, set some goals for Q4, which is one of my favorite. It's like my favorite quarter of the year, I suppose, just because the feeling of Q4, like it's just exciting, preparing for the new year, and I always get more motivated around this time. My first goal is an income goal, per usual, and I did bump it up a little bit. So I would like to make at least $15,000 from my business income. My second goal is that I want to get my savings, all of my sinking funds, including my emergency fund, back to over $32,000 altogether. So as I just shared with y'all, my savings was at about $27,800. So I would need to save a little bit over $4,000 or so to be able to do that. And really, for me to be able to do this, I would need to make the income. So $12,000 plus, $15,000 plus from income, and that will help me to get everything back up. And really, I would like to get my emergency fund back to where it was, and beyond that, I still want to hit $15,000 in my emergency fund this year. That's what I'm aiming for. And then otherwise, I would like to add to my business sinking fund again. And then I pulled quite a bit from my car sinking fund too, and I didn't mention that, the car maintenance, because I got like $1,000-something worth of car maintenance done in August. So that was a big chunk too that I would love to be able to put back. And then final goal for Q4 is my net worth goal. And that is that I want to reach $125,000 or more. So I am pretty far away from that, 5, 6, 7, over 7,000 away. But for the most part, like if you look back at these videos, my net worth typically would increase by over 7,000 each quarter. But because I don't have my full-time job and I don't have that income plus my business income, I'm obviously gonna not see as much progress. So is that possible? Absolutely, but I don't know. It'll definitely be a challenge, but I'm still gonna work toward that. It's a matter of saving more money, investing as much as possible, increasing my income as much as possible, but it also depends, as I said before, on the market, because if the market crashes or goes down at all, then I do have quite a bit of my money invested, and that's not something that I can control. So if it does go down, then that will impact my net worth. So I don't put too much, you know, I'm not too concerned about this goal of mine. As I always say, a net worth goal is kind of just fun to aim for, but not something you have total control over. So yeah, fingers crossed that I can reach that though, because that would be amazing. That is everything for Q3. I would love if y'all would share your accomplishments for the quarter down in the comments. As I always say, please go back and look at everything that you've accomplished for the last quarter or the last 6 months or the last year, whatever it is that you have not looked at. Just go ahead and look at your accomplishments, because it's so important. And oftentimes we are looking at things on a month-to-month basis or even like week-to-week, and it doesn't feel like we're making much progress. But if you look back at, you know, each quarter, you are making a ton of progress, and you definitely want to celebrate those wins and accomplishments. So I would love to hear them. Comment those down below. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one.